if you had a time machine, what would you go back and change? When I was 13 years old, I fell in love with Becky Hernandez. And it was the first time I fell in love. My heart exploded like a rainbow of fireworks. And if you had been standing with me at Moore Junior High School in Redlands, California in 1977, you would have seen Becky. Black hair, golden brown skin. She was an Aztec goddess. How was I going to compete? I was a shy, pimple-faced white kid who collected stamps and seashells. How do you get somebody's attention? Somebody that you really, really like. Part of me wanted to run up to her and say, "Becky, I love you!" And the other part of me said, "Don't embarrass yourself!" So I looked around my school to see who stood out. Who was confident? The tough guys. The cholos. So I pretended to be a cholo. And boy, did that get Becky's attention. In the wrong way. 6 months later, her mom reached out to me and she said, "Reid, I need to talk to you. It's obvious that you really, really like my daughter, but she does not like cholos." And I thought to myself, crap! I'd blown it. Becky didn't even like the type of guys I was pretending to be. And her mom was giving me the best advice in the world. Be yourself. Becky never saw my stamps. She never saw the shells that I collected by the sea. She never saw the real me. And then 39 years later, in 2016, I found Becky on Facebook. It was like the universe had given me a second chance to make a first impression. Did I want to tell Becky that she was the first girl I ever fell in love with? You bet I did. But I was so embarrassed by who I was when I was 13. Let's face it, I was a fraud, I was a fake. And that meant that the bridge that could have been built to span 39 years and we could have walked across it was never built. There was no bridge. I had to start from scratch. The very first, most important piece when building a bridge from scratch is I had to admit I'd been a fake all those years ago. So on September 26, 2016, I logged into Facebook Messenger. I found Becky. And if you'd been sitting next to me, this is what you would have seen me type. You and I went to Moore Junior High School together in Redlands, and I was a shy, pimple-faced kid trying to get your attention by pretending to be a little cholo. It's scary when I think back on it. It's so much better to be oneself. Hope all is well with you and your family, and as the Star Trek geek in me says, live long and prosper. That's right. And then 3 days later, Becky replied. Hello! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Wow, what a blast from the past. When I read your name, I knew exactly who you were. You were tall. Of course, everyone was taller than me. And very shy. But had a lovely smile. The smile hasn't changed, but I see that you've overcome your shyness. Well done. Thank Thanks for messaging. I can't believe how quickly time flies and we're now in our 50s. Nice to hear from you, Reid. Take care. When I first sent the message, I was scared to death to send the send button. Because the 13-year-old me was nervous. But the 52-year-old me wanted no regrets. And we get this. I read this 10 times. And I smiled and I cried every time. Because back in 7th grade, it would take me 2 weeks just to get up the courage to say, "Hi, Becky," as I passed her in the hallway. And now, 39 years later, for the very first time, we were actually having a real conversation. Something we'd never had before. We were building a bridge. For the very first time. If I had a time machine, I would go back, I would find myself at junior high school, and I would say, "Dude, Becky's mom has a message for you." Be yourself. Be yourself. If you had a time machine, what would you go back and change?